Hi, this is Pim from Smart Diabetics Academy, and today I am going to show you what the best snacks for diabetics are. In this video, I'm going to show you what low-carb snacks are best for diabetics. But let's just start with saying that no diabetic or non-diabetic person should make it a habit to snack. Because each time you do, you will start releasing some insulin and increase your blood sugar. But let's face it, sometimes it's not possible to eat your main meal when you have planned for it, or maybe you're delayed for some reason and you don't want to fast. And in those cases, that's fine. Okay, as long as it's not a habitual snacking all day long, every day. We all do the best that we can in every situation, and it's always good to know what types of snacks to have when you need to. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm not encouraging snacking really, but if you have to, and if you feel like I want to do that today, then I want you to know which snacks are best for you to eat. So let's start with some general snacks that don't raise your blood sugar, and all these snacks contain less than 5 grams of carbs, and they should be safe for any diabetic to eat without any blood sugar consequences. Okay, so eggs are really good. They are great if you like them. One egg has 6 grams of protein in it. It has no carbs, and you can have a couple of eggs, or you can have as many eggs as you like, actually. You can have them as they are, maybe with a little bit of homemade mayonnaise to curb that hunger, or just keeping yourself full for a while and keeping your blood sugar low at the same time. So eggs are great, and I always encourage people to eat eggs unless you have an egg allergy or something else. Then obviously don't do that. And then I wanted to address something that that I actually like, but I can't have it because I'm not doing well with dairy, but that's Greek yogurt. So it has to be full fat, natural Greek yogurt, and that contains roughly, please do check the label though, 4 grams of carbs for one serving. So if you like this kind of food and tolerate dairy well, it's a good alternative. But please don't add any berries or nuts, since the carb content will shoot up if you do. And just for your information, a serving of Greek yogurt is roughly 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. So it's not a huge amount, but it's enough to, if it's a snack, it's enough. It's not a meal. Alternatively, you can have maybe half the amount of yogurt. So let's say 50 grams of yogurt, and then you can add something like 10 almonds or so, and you will still be safe within the 10 gram of carbs limit. Speaking of almonds, these are also an alternative. You can have a small handful of almonds and still get away with not eating more than 5 grams of carbs, but keep it to 25 almonds or less is what I think I calculated it to, so don't exceed that. So let's continue with the nuts. If you're a nut lover, an ounce of pecans or an ounce of macadamia nuts, both of these are great alternatives. An ounce of each of these will still keep you under the threshold. So don't substitute with cashews or pistachios, please, because these contain a lot more carbohydrates, and that's why I mentioned pecans and macadamias. So if you want to eat other nuts, please do check the label to make sure that there is a maximum of 5 grams of carbs in there. So if you were to go for cashews, you can't have a full ounce because it's just going to be too much. Another nut that I haven't tried myself, but that seems really great, is pili nuts. So these are, I don't know how to pronounce it even, pili nuts. Anyway, these are very low in carbohydrates, and you can actually eat 4 ounces of these and still be under 5 grams of carbs. That's a lot of nuts. But If you're trying to lose weight, just keep that in mind so you're not doing 4 ounces of those several times per day. So let's move on and have a look at nut butters, for example, because I know that many people are drawn to peanut butter. But this is not a great food because often they add oils and sometimes they add sugar. And as you can imagine, they wouldn't use premium peanuts to make nut butter, so they use all the yucky nuts for this, and which often includes the moldy ones, and you don't really want to eat that crap, to be fair. So one of the better nut butters, if you need to have nut butter, in terms of carb contents anyway, is macadamia nuts or macadamia nut butter. So if you have an ounce of macadamia nut butter, you will be on the right side of the carb threshold. They probably won't use the premium macadamia nuts either, but they're not as prone to getting moldy as peanuts are, because peanuts are really not great in that aspect. Let's have a look at something different than nuts. So let's move over to beef sticks, and these can be great. They shouldn't contain any sugar, but as soon as you're eating any sort of pre-packaged processed food, check the labels, because this is not universal and different manufacturers will do different things with their foods. So if you have, let's say there is 0 carbs in these beef sticks, you can literally have as many as you want, but I would still advise you to not go overboard because it's mostly protein and not so much fat in these. So try to keep it to maybe 3 to 4 ounces and you should be fine. Beef jerky is something that is great, but most of the time it contains quite a bit of sugar, so again check the labels. And if it says something, a common number is for some reason 11 grams of carbs, then you can eat roughly 1.5 ounce of this and be on the safe side. If it's 11 grams of carbs per 100 grams, that is. So sometimes you can find a biltong, and that's the same thing as with beef jerky. Check the label, but in general biltong has a lot less carbs than jerky, and it's probably a better alternative 9 or 10 times out of 10 probably. So for a standard type of biltong, you can usually eat about 3 to 4 ounces, the same as for the beef sticks, without having to worry about your blood sugar shooting up. If you have time to plan, if you know that, okay, I'm not going to be able to have lunch tomorrow and I need to bring some snacks to work or whatever that I can just eat quickly, you can make something like a cold meat roll up, and that's kind of a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun maybe. So it's literally like a breadless wrap where you can use any cold meat, whether that be ham or turkey or whatever it is, and then you just roll it up with a bit of maybe hard cheese in it, maybe butter. Or something that I really like, that I'm just discovered quite recently, is something called larder, which is just a cured pork fat basically, and you just slice it and it's salty and it's very herby and it's delicious. So if you roll that up together, oh, that would be great. I haven't tried it, but it sounds like it would be really, really good. And you can add a little bit of cream cheese, maybe some cottage cheese, some other very low carb vegetable if you like a salad leaf or a piece of celery or something like that. Just make it a little bit interesting without adding too many carbs. So that's a fun food. Speaking of cheese, by the way, cottage cheese, you can use cottage cheese as long as it's unflavored, because whenever you put flavor in, for some reason the carb content goes up as well. So that can be great. You can easily eat about 4 ounces of that without overdoing the carbs, but again, check the labels, make sure that whatever I tell you is transferable to the brand that you're using. Hard cheeses are generally the best cheeses that you can eat, but if you have a problem with dairy, obviously don't do it. There are some cheeses that are not great, like American cheese, for example. It's a very, very highly processed cheese, and it can contain a lot of things that shouldn't be in cheese. So do, again, check the labels. I feel like a broken record. Goat's cheese. An ounce literally contains 0.2 grams of carbs. So you can pretty much eat as much as you like of this. and you can put it on your roll-ups, or you can have it with maybe 3-4 medium-sized asparagus spears if you want to be fancy, some bacon maybe, or maybe a couple of radishes or something like that. I don't know, I don't really like goat's cheese, but that could be something that you can play around with as well. Tuna can be a really good alternative if you are in an emergency situation. So there are no carbs in tuna, but please be, if you buy the canned version of the tuna, buy it in water rather than oil, because the oil quality is usually really bad. And don't make it a habit to eat canned foods, because they can contain a lot of other things that aren't really good for you. So as an emergency food, once in a while, if something happens and you need to get something and you can get your hands on the can of tuna, go for it. It's pretty good. Another great, or actually even better alternative, or better fish to eat than tuna, is probably sardines. And the sardines themselves don't contain any carbohydrates, but you can often find them canned in tomato sauce. So I had to look that up just to be safe, but luckily there's very little carb in each little tin, and they are usually 3 ounces, these tins. So if you like them, you can have pretty much as many as you like. It's going to take you're going to have to eat more than 10 of these to go over 5 grams of carbs, so I don't think most people would do that. Right, so if you have time to plan, you can make things like egg muffins, for example, or something similar. You can add vegetables to these if you like. You can add some cheese, you can add bacon. It's going to be more like a crustless quiche maybe. They last in the fridge for at least 5, maybe 6, 7 days even, depends on how fussy you are. But they're really easy to make in advance, and you can also freeze them. So if you can do that, and you know that, okay, I have some of those in the freezer, and you can just take a couple of those with you to work whenever you know that they might be, you might not have time to eat your lunch or whatever. And they're quick to put in and get satisfied. So if you like making big batches of food, it's a good thing to do. I haven't tried these myself, but I don't like cheese so much, and I obviously shouldn't be eating cheese, but Parmesan chips, I have heard so many people sing the praises of Parmesan chips. And you can keep these with you. You can literally have them in a bag wherever you're going as a snack. And all you do is that you grate some Parmesan cheese onto a baking tray lined with baking parchment, and you bake it in the oven. I don't know the temperature, but there are so many recipes on Google, so just Google it, find out how hot they should be, how long they should be in, etc. and go do it. And 3 ounces of these chips will keep you under the threshold. God, I have something in my throat. And then we have my favorite, or everyone's favorite, bacon. That's something we all love, pretty much. And you can pre-cook your bacon if you like. Or sometimes, you can find them cooked already. When I lived in the UK, I found some really delicious pre-cooked bacon at Costco. Now, I haven't seen them anywhere in New Zealand. We don't have Costco here, but bacon is virtually free from carbs on its own. But sometimes they do add sugar or honey, so please do check the label. I have made that mistake last year even. I went to the butcher's, just picked up a packet of bacon, didn't look at it, came home, cooked them, put them in my mouth, and I almost gagged because I don't like my bacon to be sweet, and it was extremely sweet. So that was a huge disappointment. So please don't do that. Yeah, so something that I like having with bacon is actually guacamole, believe it or not. And you could do that. You could actually have about 3 ounces of guacamole with your bacon, and that would still be less than 5 grams of carbs. So that might be something that you want to try. Lastly, my last one, before I have to go and drink, because my throat is really tickling me. Olives. I don't like olives, but they have to make the list because this is a very good low carb fruit. 3 ounces contains roughly 5 grams of carbs. So don't eat more than that, but if you like olives, and I know many people do, just have a few of those and you will be fine. So as you can see, there are so many things that you can snack on that don't raise your blood sugar. And if you're one of these people that you just need a snack before bed to control your morning blood sugar, make sure that it's a 0 carb snack, like half a boiled egg or a little bit of cold meat, maybe even a tablespoon of goat's cheese, because you don't want to make things worse and prolong the problem by adding more carbs, right? So make the right decision. Go for fat or protein, or just protein if you like. So just to make this even easier for you, if in case you try to write everything down, I have actually created a PDF for you that you can request if you are following the link down in the description. All you have to do is just put your name, email in, and we will send it to you. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, please do that and help the channel grow. And also hit that little bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I release a new video. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!